Excuse me. He said, you're not going to find someone who treats you the way I did. I almost laughed. I said, Keith, everything you did was calculated. The good mornings, the questions about my family, the candle for my mom. You didn't do any of that because you cared. You did it because it was on your list. He said, that's not true. I said, then why did Sully know every single step you were going to take before you took it? Why did your friends know about the flowers before I got them? Why did they know you were going to meet my mom and bring a gift? He went quiet. Then he tried a different angle. He said, even if it started that way, it became real. He said he started out trying to impress his friends, but that he actually started caring about me somewhere along the way. I asked him when. He couldn't answer. I asked him what specific moment he realized he cared about me. He opened his mouth and nothing came out. Because there wasn't a moment. There was never a shift from performance to sincerity. There was only the performance and the audience and the scorecard. I told him to leave. He stood up and walked to the door and then turned around and said, I do care about you. Whether you believe it or not, I do. I said, if you cared about me, you wouldn't have turned our relationship into a locker room presentation for your friends. He left. I locked the door and sat on the couch for about 20 minutes without moving. I wasn't sad. I was recalibrating. Every moment from the past 2 months was running through my head, and every single one now had a second layer underneath it. The time he surprised me at lunch at my office wasn't spontaneous. It was calculated. The time he texted me a photo of a sunset because he said it reminded him of me wasn't romantic. It was step 7 or 8 or whatever number he was on. Every compliment, every thoughtful gesture, every time I thought this is what real effort looks like, it was all performance. And the audience wasn't me. It was Sully and whoever else was in that group chat, laughing at how well Keith's playbook was working. The next day, Lana told me Keith called Sully and screamed at him for an hour for ruining everything. Not for ruining our relationship, for ruining his plan. That's the word Lana used. Sully told her Keith said you ruined everything I built. Like I was a project. Like our relationship was something he assembled from parts he ordered online. Lana asked me if I was okay. I told her I was fine, but that I needed a few days to process. She said take all the time you need and that she was sorry she had to be the one to tell me. I told her I was glad she did. If she hadn't told me, I would have slept with him eventually, and he would have had his proof, and I would have been a screenshot in a group chat somewhere. Zola found out a few days later. She was furious. She said she felt guilty because she was one of the people who told me to give Keith a chance. I told her it wasn't her fault. She believed what he was selling the same way I did. Zola asked me if I wanted her to say something to him. I said no. I said he wasn't worth the energy. But Zola has never been the kind of person who lets things go quietly. She went to Lana and got the full story, and then she went to Sully directly and asked him to confirm everything. Sully confirmed it. He even showed her screenshots from the group chat, messages from Keith going back to before he even asked me out the first time. There was one message that said, tonight I'm going for the first ask. If she says no, that's fine. It's about planting the seed. Women like her want to feel pursued. There was another that said she said no again, but she smiled when she said it. 2 more attempts should do it. There was one from the week before the flowers that said I'm bringing flowers to the hangout on Friday. Small ones. Nothing over the top. It has to look effortless. And there was one from after our first date that said first date went perfect. She thinks I'm the nicest guy she's ever met. This is going to be easy. Easy. I was easy. I was a woman who gave a man a chance because he seemed kind and genuine, and that made me easy. There was another message from about a week into us dating that said she told me about her dad leaving when she was 12, taking a mental note. I'll bring it up later when she needs to feel understood. That one made me put my phone down and close my eyes.